My name is Aaron Richards, and I'm from the Orange congregation in Orange, California. Over the past, say, 5-ish years, our congregation has worked on improving or, um, changing out our landscaping to be more drought tolerant and climate friendly. Really, a lot of it started probably more than 5 years ago when we decided to pull out this large grass area that was on the side of the sanctuary that you can see from the large windows in the sanctuary, just a huge plot of grass. And a team of congregants, myself and others included, pulled out that grass and laid down different beds for gardening and kind of created a community garden. And that went on for a while, and that was, backed by a lot of people in the congregation, but we had a couple families in particular that were really passionate about it, and it was great to get those families together and have everyone kind of rally around this. So I think it all started with the Peace Garden, what we call it, the community garden that we were working through. And then once we saw kind of how that landscaping worked with our facility and our campus, as well as just realizing that we had other opportunities to cut down on some of the resources that we're using, particularly water and other we decided to start looking at possible options for drought tolerant landscaping. So we had trees and grass and hedges and your typical probably congregational campus. We had that throughout. And couple things we had to consider. We have a church, or excuse me, we have a school that rents out the campus during the week. And this school is for kids that have some behavioral issues that they're working through. And so, the landscaping had to be suitable for kids going through. These are elementary age kids, so got a lot of wear and tear. So in some areas we just did basic turf because we knew that they needed a spot to be able to play and kick a ball around or whatever else. And then in the other spots, did a lot of the typical rock and some small succulents, but also keeping in mind that that landscaping had to withstand the other people that were using the campus. So that process probably going through everything took a handful of years, and we talked about it more at some points and less at others, just as we were trying to figure out exactly what we wanted to do. But then ultimately, probably about, I don't know, 3 or so years ago, we pulled the trigger. And, although we did the Peace Garden ourselves, it was literally backbreaking. And so we decided for the larger campus that we would hire somebody. And we started off first using someone local that could use just kind of small pieces at a time. And we phased through a couple of those pieces. Based off of not only just kind of a timing, but also, a cost standpoint is, can be pricey if they're carrying out different things. And then towards the end, we hired another group that kind of came in and did the final, swish through, and they did a lot of the irrigation setup as well. So the whole campus now is drought tolerant, and or, the AstroTurf, which I guess is drought tolerant as well. That company set up drip watering systems so that we're watering far less than what we did in the past, as well as just from a maintenance standpoint. We used to have a gardener and a team that would come in and do all the hedging and all the grass mowing on a weekly basis. We still have a company that comes and helps maintain and pulls weeds and make sure that the drip systems are working, but it's at a far reduced effort and cost, as well as just thinking of the different things that have to go into maintaining the old landscaping versus the new landscaping. I would say at the moment the plan is still working. A lot of it is could probably withstand more droughts, or whatever the right way to phrase that is. But the purpose is to be drought tolerant and to not need water or need cool temperatures, which we have from time to time in Southern California. Obviously not a lot, but it's the desert landscaping that can withstand that. So I don't think there's a whole lot of adjustments that need to be made. We do have one strip of grass still that we kept that I think we'd like to keep for the moment just because it's on the sidewalk where there's a bus stop, and we've seen people sitting in the grass and enjoying that. And we understand that it needs to be a fine balance of welcoming versus something that makes more sense from a climate perspective. So I could see maybe in the future that something like that might need to change, but for the most part, I think it's fairly um, poised to be okay for warmer climates if that comes. There were certainly times where, while walking the campus, we would identify, standing water in one area or another, and really realize, that this that was wasteful and that it was an opportunity, and just kind of further incentivize us or further cause us to want to make the change. One of the better things that we did was the phased approach, where we said, okay, let's take care of, X side or the front or whatever that is. And we're fairly fortunate in that, because of the school that rents our campus, we have some resources to put into it, but I understand that's not, everyone's situation, as well as it's not something that we just wanted to throw a bunch of money at it as well ourselves. So I think the phased approach was really helpful. It allowed us to get it going, allowed people to get comfortable with it. In my opinion, it's almost like not only does it help you get part of it done, but it's almost like a marketing effort to show, okay, this is what we're trying to do for the future, and this is why we're doing it, and this is what the benefits could be. So I would say for sure, phased approach was helpful. And I also think, although we only did the garden ourselves, I do think having the congregation pitch in to do even some of it was good. Just gave a little bit of kind of ownership to the project. So those are a couple things I would suggest is, try not boiling the ocean all at once, as they say, but also, kind of getting everyone's hands dirty in it. And, it was, for me, I've been going to this church, Community of Christ, but I've been going to this congregation my entire life. And I've always connected more with the opportunity of ministry to be able to kind of getting my hands dirty, not sitting in the church in the sanctuary, but really kind of working alongside everybody. So, and it really turned into that. It was a lot more than just landscaping. It was, doing the work with everybody else. So I think if you can get that personal tie for people, obviously there's a little bit more ownership and a little more pride behind it, besides just, changing the landscape and moving on.